previous session of mathematics, we were discussing on the chapter Exponents and Powers. There we have already completed the first exercise and we have learnt how to express the exponents of a larger numbers in terms of 10 to the power, isn't it? And also about the negative exponents. Some of you may be having confusion about using the word exponents or powers. ಯಾವಾಗ exponent ಅನ್ನೋ word use ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವಾಗ power ಅನ್ನೋ word use ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ some of you might have got this thought. So let me clear that to you first before starting with today's session, children. You have already learnt about the square numbers and the cube numbers, isn't it? 2 cube, 3 cube. How do you say, or say suppose numbers like 4, 16, 25. These numbers are called perfect squares, isn't it? Because we get this on multiplying the same two numbers. 4 into 4, 5 into 5, like that it goes. When you are multiplying 2 times, how do you express it as? 2 square. When you express 3 times, how do you express? 3 to the power 3. So, when you are expressing in the place of powers, children, the perfect squares or the perfect cubes, or it is not like only to the power 2 or to the power 3, maybe to the power 5, power 8, any power it may be, whatever you are expressing when multiplying the same number that many times. Suppose if I say 10 to the power 5, what does it mean? You are multiplying 10 how many times? 5 times in that. So that is 10 to the power 5. Like this, the power what we express are nothing but the terms which you are multiplying the same term any number of times. Maybe depends on how many times we are multiplying. All numbers na powers anta heltivi. But exponents andre what we are solving right from the previous sessions, children, to the power 2, to the power 3, athara any number when you express, those are exponents. Adre idara perfect multiplication ge what you give the powers, andre what you write on their head, on the head of the numbers, those are called the powers, children. Powers andre the number or the digit which you express in order to show that it is that we obtained by multiplying the same number so many times anta. So yavaga power use ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, yavaga exponent use ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. Hope it is clear to you. Now as I already said you, large numbers ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಹೇಗೆ express ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ we have already learned in the previous session. Like for example, the distance of the earth from the sun. We know the distance between the celestial bodies from the earth is very far, isn't it? So say suppose the distance of the earth from the sun is, can you read this number, so many meter? Or say the speed of the light is 3 followed by so many zeros meter per second. It is so difficult to express, right? So how do we do such case? Andre we have learnt in previous session to express it as 10 to the power a known. Now what we simply do is, how do you express for such bigger numbers in terms of exponents? Andre the digits or the numbers whatever it is there, we write them as it is, like 1496 idiyala. I will write 1496 as it is, followed by there are many zeros. Count how many zeros are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros are there. So you will write whatever the number is into 10 to the power, always the base is 10 always. Why? Because you are counting the number of zeros, that is the reason. So 10 to the power, base is 10 always. You counted the number of zeros. How many were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros we got. Meter unit as it is. So expressing the some millions of kilometer distance in meter is difficult, but just to express it as 1496,496 into 10 to the power 8 meter, it is very easy, children. So this, we did not get this 8 by multiplying 1496 8 times, isn't it? So this is exponent and not the power. But power andre simply 10 to the power 8 andre yavakagutte when you multiply 10 8 times, that is 10. Power exponent madhya you should not get confused, okay na? So 1496 into 10 power 8 meter anta we will write. Similarly, we all know the speed of light 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second anta we know. So how do we do? As usual, number 3 or whatever the number is, write them as it is into base 10 always. 10 to the power, count the zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Like this we express the larger values in terms of exponents with the 10 as the base. That is how we express. So we have solved the problems based on this as well and learned the law of exponents. In today's session, we shall be learn how to use the exponents to express the smaller numbers in their standard form. Standard form andre what we wrote 1496 into 10 to the power 8, 3 into 10 to the power 8 anta now vadadvalva children. Those are called the standard forms. Those are called the standard forms. So if bigger numbers like this, you express them in the standard form. For smaller numbers, how do you express the numbers in the standard form? Smaller numbers, for example, I have chosen here the diameter of the red blood cells. You know that our blood consists of RBC and WBC, red blood corpuscles and white blood corpuscles. They even say the term cells, red blood cells, white blood cells. So the diameter of that red blood cell is 0.000007 millimeter. Now this is too small value, isn't it? Red blood cell, the diameter is too small, whereas the distance from earth to the sun is very huge distance. It is a big number, whereas the diameter of the red blood cell is a small number. Even the thickness of human hair is 0.005 centimeter. We know our thickness of our hair. It is not too thick, isn't it? So these are small quantities. How do you express such quantities in their standard form? We shall learn today. How means, I have considered few examples here. Best example, I have chosen this only to make you understand better. 0.000007 millimeter is there. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಾರ್ ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬರೆದು ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. zeros we used to count and write it as 10 to the power ಅಂತ exponent form. Here also we do the same for the smaller numbers, but only little difference is there. ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, see how do you do is, listen carefully, this is very important. Whatever the number, here numbers will be there in the beginning for bigger numbers. Smaller numbers andre number first it will be 0 point followed by many zeros ending with numbers, see everywhere. But illeno starting a number irutte followed by as many zeros according to data. Lastly any number idru write it as it is. It may be a single digit, double digit, triple digit or any number of digits, let it be. Write it in the numerator divided by 1 anta always. Any number idru lastly that should be written in the numerator divided by 1. 1 admele what you should write is, in this case of all the smaller numbers children, after decimal point count how many digits are there. Count how many digits are there anta. Then writing 1 you write 10 anta. Why? Always we write express exponents in the powers of 10, base 10 ಇಟ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. So ಏನೇ digit ಇದ್ರು write it in the numerator divided by 10 ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೋತೀರಾ. After that, after the decimal point, how many digits are there you will count. Let us count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, isn't it? You should count the numbers also, not only zeros. Here for larger numbers, after writing the number, how many zeros are there we will count and write that number as the 10 to the power anta. But here for smaller numbers when you are expressing, count the zeros as well as that number. When you do so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 I got. So 7 into 10 to the power 6 anta I will write. So ಏನೇ ನಂಬರ್ ಇದ್ರು in the numerator divided by 10 to the power ಏನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಡೆಸಿಮಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಜಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ that many digits ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆಯೋ ಆ number should be expressed as the exponent to the 10. You have learnt already in the first part of this lesson. ಇದು 1 by a to the power m is what? A to the power minus m. Similarly, a power minus m ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 divided by a to the power m, isn't it? I explained you many times that if at all you are sending any exponent from denominator to the numerator or numerator to the denominator, the sign of the exponent will change. Plus idre minus agate, minus idre plus agate. The same thing like I said, you know, in algebra, whenever you send the numbers from LHS to RHS or RHS to LHS, plus minus agate, minus idre plus ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಇಲ್ಲೂನು when you interchange them between the numerator and denominator also you apply the same. Suppose in the denominator you have plus and when you send it to the numerator minus ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Numerator ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇದ್ದು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ಗೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋನೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So now I have 7 divided by 10 to the power 6. If I send 10 to the power plus 6 to the numerator, it will become 7 into 10 to the power minus 6. That's all. So, the diameter of the red blood cell is 0.000007 millimeter ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹೇಗಿದೆ or 7 into 10 to the power minus 6 millimeter ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹೇಗಿದೆ. So, this is the standard form of expressing the smaller numbers, children. Whenever you send any number whose positive exponent is there in the denominator and sending to numerator, it will become negative exponent. So we got 7 into 10 to the power minus 6. Whenever you are expressing larger numbers, so numbers are followed by zeros, hence you always get positive exponent. But for the smaller numbers, children, 0 followed by the number will be there. So that number in the numerator divided by after decimal point number of digits you will count and write it as the power. Whenever you send the power to the numerator positive then negative ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So it is 7 into 10 power minus 6 millimeter. One more example we'll see. 0.00014 ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ digit 7 ಇತ್ತು. So we wrote 7 in the numerator. But here we have two digits, that is 14. So I will write 14 in the numerator divided by 10. 10 to the power what is the next question? After 0 point, decimal point, how many digits we will count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 to the power 5 I do. And when I send 10 to the power 5 to the numerator along with 14, what will it become? Simply it will become 14 into 10 to the power minus, 5 alva. 10 to the power minus 5 I2. That is how you should do, children. Next, one more example, 0.0016. Again, I have two digits in the end. Let me write them as it is. 16 I2 divided by 10 to the power what? Decimal point as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 digits. So 10 to the power 4. So when I send it to numerator, it is 10 to the power minus 4. Instead of telling 0.0016, you can say 16 into 10 to the power minus 4. Now when it comes to the thickness of human hair, this is hair, human hair, children, 0.005 centimeter there. What is the number in the end? 5. Divided by 10 followed to the power how many zeros? Decimal point 1, 2, 3 digits you have. 10 to the power 3 or that is equal to 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 centimeter. You should express it in the standard form. Now this is one method of doing, children, which is given in the textbook. Now I will teach you one more method which is not there in the textbook, because when you go to higher classes, when you will have to express such smaller numbers in those standard forms, you cannot write the number, divide by 10, after decimal point, how many digits are there, write that power, then take to the numerator. All this you cannot do. For time being, you do so. You learn. This is how they are given in your textbook. But one more method I will teach you, which will help you to write this form directly by looking at this. You can skip this step. How means? Look now, 0.00014, isn't it, children? So, whatever is there, the end number, write it as it is into 10 anta barkotira. To the power what andre? Eager children, you have the decimal point here. You should, ಈಗ 0.00014 na, just if you want to make it 14, then all these zeros, whole this thing should be deleted. Then only I will get the 14 which I have written here. How to delete all this? How means, don't cut like this. Instead, how you should do is, children, this decimal point, it is very simple. This decimal point, if you shift here, then it will exactly become 14. So, to shift the decimal point to the end always, how many places or decimal places you are moving forward or backward anta you should count. Like, illi the decimal point. So, end tarbek nani decimal point illinda illige andre, I should count the digits, children, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 digits, 5 decimal places if I shift this decimal point, then my 0.00014 will become my 14. How many decimal places did we shift? 5. And whenever you are shifting the decimal place in the forward direction, you will have to write the negative exponent. Keep this in mind. Whenever you are shifting the decimal point in the forward direction like this, you should write negative exponent. How many decimal places did we shift? 5. Since we shifted in the forward direction, minus 5 anta baribeku. Didn't we get the same answer? This is easier than this, no children? Let me try for this problem also. Now, 7 barat biಡ್ತೀನಿ. Next, to make this 0.000007 as only 7, what I should do? I should bring this decimal point to the end, that is after 7. So, ಎಷ್ಟು decimal place I am shifting andre? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 into 10 to the power 6. I am shifting the decimal point in the forward direction, so it is minus 6. 7 into 10 power minus 6, 7 into 10 power minus 6. Isn't not easy, children? ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 16 into 10 to the power, ready ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋ decimal point ನನಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಬೇಕು. For that 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4. I got it. I am shifting the decimal point in the forward direction, in this direction andre minus 4. Didn't we get the same answer? Like this you should do, children. Similarly, if at all you are shifting the decimal point in the backward direction, that such problems or such numbers also you will come across. If you are shifting the decimal point in the backward direction like this, E direction andre, you will take it as positive. This is one more method of expressing any given smaller number or bigger number in their standard form, in the form of exponents. Andre 10 to the power. Forward directionally shift ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ decimal points negative. Backward directionally shift ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ positive. This concept you keep in mind. If at all this forward backward confusing, don't worry. This you have understood now. 10 divided by 10 ಬರೀತೀರಾ. ಎಷ್ಟು digits ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. That many digits, ಎಷ್ಟು number ಬರುತ್ತೋ that will be written as the exponent. So this is about the use of exponents to express the smaller number in its standard form. That's all is the concept, children. So this concepts now we shall apply in the last exercise of this problem, that is exercise 2.2, which is very very interesting and easiest exercise. And we clean the board and do it for your children.